clarification that in answer to the invitation from Ascended Master Saint Germain and his students, these great archangels have broken the cosmic silence for the first time in many centuries and have opened the door to the realms of consciousness, service, radiation, and spiritual activities. And so in this book are teachings that these archangels are sharing. And the archangels for the fourth ray are Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Hope. Notice how behind Archangel Gabriel, there's a star cloak. Notice he's on a cloud. This is all esoteric signaling that the angels are beings of light. Okay. So at this point, before Winsong comes in to talk to us about Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Hope, I know I've just done a massive dump on you, and I apologize. But I honestly, in order for you to have the big picture of where we're going in this journey, I felt it was necessary. So I'm going to stop the share, come back to the tribe members, take a breath. Is there anything that anybody is desiring to speak to, that's requiring any clarification, anything at all before we jump into Winsong's teachings around the archangels? Please unmute yourself and feel free to speak up.
I don't know that it has any relation, but it just popped into my little brain. And we know how that works sometimes. Is that in January, when you were talking about on January the 17th, is 11 days after Epiphany. And then you also talked about Discourse 11 in the
I am the open door book.
I am the open door book, yes. And I'm like, oh my heavens, because Epiphany is what? Is when the three kings come to pay tribute to the Christ being. And that was Epiphany. And then I don't know, it's something with the 11, the 1-1, the 2 1s to me indicates something, but I'm not a numerologist, so I don't know.
I hear what you're saying, and this is how I personally have always tapped into that frequency, and the others can express that too. I've always seen the 1-1-11 as 2 pillars. And for me, the pillars are Yeshua and Magdalene. Or you could say Isis and Osiris. Or you can say Inanna and Dumuzi. Or you could say Sekhmet and Ptah, right? For me, that's what it's always represented. But I'd love to hear from the rest of you in terms of how you relate to those frequencies.
Don't leave me hanging here.
Yes, you got to unmute yourself. You got to unmute yourself and speak up. Okay. Anything else, Gina? Sophia Regina.
No, that was it. And I don't really know why. It was just something that popped out.
Mm-hmm. Did anything?
So for me, it must be something important.
Yes, yes. And so again, inviting you to go into your Christ heart and asking what is the significance of this aha, right? Around the 11 for me.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that it has not, I don't know that it has anything to do with this, but it was just interesting. When I had my first Akashic reading back in 16, I think it was, and I haven't actually had one since, but interestingly enough, I think that, well, what this person sees, is my chakra is the root chakra. That's the one that I'm connected to. It's interesting because it's also white. But I've never associated the root with white because in the chakra chart, it's red.
Right. Is there more?
No, that was it.
Okay, so you're feeling complete?
I am. Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any ahas they'd like to share?
Yeah, am I off mute? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. I was listening to you talk about the secret wish fulfilling jewel, that the book by Peter Mount Shasta of his Tibetan journey. There's a tie-in there to alchemy. And he
Absolutely,
even,
there is.
yes, he even calls it the philosopher's stone.
Yes.
He said that. So so the robe and the color white and the journey all relates to alchemy as well. And you can think of it when you study alchemy as the wish fulfilling jewel, the jewel, which is the philosopher's stone, which is the total and complete enlightenment of the essence of self, the essence of spirit, the essence of the universe. It is a multi-layered stone that we are seeking. And we've been given the steps to find that. And everybody's path is going to look a little different, and that's fine. The goal is the same. You want the knowledge of your own essence. You want that ego to be quiet and not tell you who you are.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's it.
And I don't know if you ladies recall, but back in that Gemini rainbow goddess journey, I asked Winsong then to start teaching alchemy.
She did.
But it wasn't the right time. And then we went through the whole Capricorn goddess journey, and it wasn't the right time. But when we were getting ready to go into the Leo divine royalty goddess, we both knew now's the time. And of course, now we understand, having gotten this far, because we didn't know at the beginning of the Leo divine royalty goddess that this was going to be a journey into the ascension / resurrection mysteries / alchemical mysteries. It was the perfect time.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything that they'd like to share before Winsong goes into the archangels? Okay. All righty. I'm going to go back to the slides then. And I am going to let Winsong take it away.
Okay. Thank you. Gabriel and his complement, Hope, they call that the archaea of the fourth flame, are actually not separate like we see them here. Archangels are androgynous. They have no male or female dominated parts. They are whole. They hold the feminine and the masculine, but it is very, very helpful to see them as both feminine and masculine, because it relates to the way that we see our world. We are a marriage of the feminine and the masculine, at least that's our goal. But we see the archangel and his complement as two separate beings, but they are one. I just want to make sure that we had that clear, that there aren't two beings here. They express as two beings, but they are not. So Gabriel is known as the messenger angel. He brings the good news. He helps us to communicate with loving kindness. He assists you with your creative projects and to guide or teach others. He is the awakener. He brought the news to Elizabeth and Mary, sisters, of their impending motherhood to John the Baptist and Yeshua. John the Baptist and Yeshua are first cousins. So if our soul is honest and earnest in seeking the truth, we wouldn't be here if that wasn't true. He will flash the flame of his heart into our consciousness. He reminds us that with his accumulated momentum, momentum is a big word for the ascent. He reminds us with his accumulated momentum, he can help us remember to be resurrected, that we carry innate powers to use in our lifetime. We reflect the beauty, perfection, and balance of our souls. He tells us he is much more than the announcer. He says, allow me to resurrect within you your latent powers that are in your present life stream. So what that means is you don't have to wait. He's already there. He is there, and you just have to invoke him. You have to ask the archangels to help, because as a free planet with free will, they cannot interfere if we don't ask. And I don't mean interfere, I mean help, assist. If we ask, they will be there for us. I got a kick out of what came to me when I was studying Gabriel with that wonderful book, the Archangels Speak. He spoke, his words came through with such passion. And you can imagine, you know, that when he came to Mary, I had this picture of Eeyore and Tigger in Winnie the Pooh, okay? And it was so cute. If he had come, you know, with Eeyore's consciousness and say, okay, Mary, you're blessed among women. This isn't gonna be easy. You're gonna have a hard time, but you're gonna give birth to the Messiah. And she'd go, oh my gosh, no. She maybe did that anyway, but he comes in like Tigger. Woo, woo, you are blessed among women. You are going to give birth to the Messiah, and on, and tells her the whole story, gets her excited, works her into this role she's coming into. Joseph also, and he does the same thing with Elizabeth. He announces with great excitement that John the Baptist is on the way. And I just got such a kick out of seeing him, Tigger, you know, bouncing around, telling us the good news. And I was grateful for his enthusiasm, because sometimes the good news seems like a mantle of burden. And it's better the way he explains it than sometimes the negrito of the alchemy tells us. So hope, here's a picture of the female representation. She carries the staff of light. She can assist us to reach a state of harmony and tolerance, of kindly peace, of love, and our vibration will be one with the heavens. As above, so below. We have control over when we can experience the golden age. We can manifest it in this hour. She tells us to hold strong and remember daily, hourly, that we hold the flame of the Sophia-Christ consciousness within our hearts. It is here now where we know the I am resides, in the intelligence and compassion of our hearts. We each carry a keynote to the cosmic symphony. And all those notes are needed for the wholeness of the planet at this point. We can externalize the perfection of the divine plan now. It can be instantaneous. That's the message of these two beautiful beings.
That's fantastic. We're going to do the crystals next, but I just wanted to give everybody a chance if there's anything they wanted to ask about the archangels before we move on to the crystals, or anything they want to share about the archangels. What I would like to share, and you know, maybe you will see it, maybe you won't, but you know, when you said that hope carries the staff of light, and of course they have that imagery, what I immediately saw was the rod of enlightenment.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and because they are the same being, that means Gabriel carries that. You see him in the illustration carrying the scroll, meaning that he carries the news.
Mm-hmm.
But he is also often seen with the staff of light.
Wow. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share or ask? Okay, let's go into the crystals of this fourth ray. This is the book that Winsong told us about that she was struggling with. Should she get this book or the one on Hypatia? And
that is a book of his, but that's not the book that I have.
Oh, it's not, because that's the one that I bought.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I just got the let me see. Where is it?
Let me stop the share so we can.
This is the book.
Hold on a second. Let me change the view to speaker so we can see that. Go ahead and hold it in the middle of your chest. The Alchemy of Stones. Oh, rats. I wonder
this is his. There will be information in the other book as well, the Book of Stones. But this is the Alchemy of Stones. And this was his latest. It's kind of like his magnum opus. And
okay.
This is.
Well, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. When I looked for his book on stones, that one didn't even come up.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh. No, the Alchemy of Stones.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my apologies for having the wrong book listed here and on
this. There's nothing wrong with that book.
Okay.
Obviously, it's going to have much the same information in it that this one does.
Okay.
Yeah. I bought this one. It has the 4 cornerstones of alchemy in it, which we will be working with later. And that book is fine. That's a wonderful book on crystals.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Back on that slide where I listed the other resources,
mm-hmm.
Then it should say the Alchemy of Stones and not this one. So I apologize.
Yeah,
for that.
I thought that's, yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. So the 2 crystals for the fourth ray are azurite, and here's an image of azurite, and snow quartz. Mm-hmm. This is snow quartz. So I'll let Winsong speak to those.
Yeah. Okay. Wanted to reintroduce prima materia here. The first matter, the substance that always begins a journey with alchemy. There is the outer, which is what we see in reality, plants, minerals, gems, and the physical components of all life on Earth. And another part is the prima materia, of the inner aspects that we seek to alchemize. Alchemists who only work one or the other, the physical or the inner, cannot gather the momentum needed to ascend. We must work with both to achieve the magnum opus, or the great work. Working with the crystal kingdom allows us to do both. With stones, we work with the first matter of earth. We enter the realm of true imagination and living intelligence. Our energy meets theirs, and a synergy between us is created. It is important to remember that they are our partners in alchemy, and we work together to achieve inner and outer perfection. Crystals and stones are just as much children of the Mother Earth as we are. Okay, so the first stone that was presented is azurite, which supports awakening to universal love, clearing the emotional body, and inspiring union with divine light. It has the highest spiritual frequency of all stones and crystals. Its energy is from the great central sun. It flows through our bodies and encourages cellular regeneration and healing. It is a stone of resurrection and vibrational ascension. Snow quartz helps us see the world with clear, bright eyes and activates the crown chakra. It assists us gain a positive and self-empowering perspective. It makes it easier to learn new things and retain the knowledge. It balances yin-yang energy and helps us to see the world with childlike innocence, but adult wisdom, knowledge, and experience. And red jasper is always a part of the earth chakra. With the earth star, that is already in place. That is not going to accompany us on the ascent. It is below our feet, and it will amplify all levels of grounding and stability. Everything, when we ground to earth, goes through the star chakra. So when we begin with the root chakra, it's going to ascend. I mean, the root chakra is ascending now. It has begun the journey. Okay, so red jasper can be used for the root chakra. It is a grounding stone for mental energies, discipline, perseverance, and slow, steady healing for chronic health issues. It aids in overcoming insomnia, calms fear, and overwhelm, all of which can be a part of the ascension. And sometimes when I feel that I am trying to disassociate, or I feel like I can't absorb not one more thing, I will take a piece of red jasper and I'll put it under my pillow to help me ground to the earth, to the mother. I love this representation of her over on the right. And I put it under my pillow and ask for assistance to ground and feel steady, and I can sleep better and not feel so overwhelmed. Are there any questions about any of these crystals?
I noticed that word momentum again.
Mm-hmm.
And I've picked up that word
Mhm.
as I've been reading in the 7 Sacred Flames. Of course, I read all about the 4th ray. Today is Thursday that we're doing this. The sacred flame for today, believe it or not, synchronistically, is the golden resurrection flame. So I was reading all about that. which is the 6th ray. And they use repeatedly momentum, momentum, momentum. In order to ascend, you have to build momentum.
Yeah.
And the way that they describe building momentum is by engaging on a regular basis, daily basis, you know, through your thoughts, through these meditations that they're providing. And so it's nice to know that we can do that and help to build our own momentum, you know, engaging with the archangels, working with the crystals daily, are the practices that we can engage to help build that momentum for our ascension.
Yes, momentum is a key word for the ascension. It is very important, and Gabriel reminds us to tap into his momentum, and he has a lot of momentum. He's been working with humans for a very long time, and all you have to do is invoke him. Just call his name, and he will help you. Whatever you ask, he will help you. I believe he's gonna, well, he will be with us the entire ascent. They all will.
Yes.
But this is when he enters.
Yes. Yes. And this is the other thing that they say in the 7 Sacred Flames book, that these 7 sacred flames are aspects of the one large source creator. And while on a specific day, one of them is like the main event for the day, all 7 of them are still very much at play. And so you can focus on one at a time each day, but all 7 of the flames are working you, right? Are being infused on a daily basis, always.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. I love them. I just, I really have felt a wonderful connection with archangels.
Yeah.
And there are many, you know, we only are aware of a few of them, but there are many, many of them on the helping humans at present.
Well, let me tell you, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I was having a surgery done, trying to even think when it was. It was back when Caleb was in high school. He's 35 now, and so he would have been about 17. So what is that, about 17, 18 years ago, when I was having this surgery. And, you know, after surgery, they put you into the recovery room so that you can come out of the anesthesia before they put you back into your hospital room. I remember distinctly, as I was coming out of anesthesia and I was opening my eyes, at the foot of my hospital bed was this ginormous angel. Ginormous. I was convinced it was Archangel Michael in the moment. I don't really know, but in that moment, that's who I identified with. And it was huge. His light field was so huge that it was like, I knew that it was like beyond, not even the room we were in, but beyond the building that we were in.
No, you cannot contain an archangel's energy.
Yeah.
They are huge.
Yeah.
It could have been Raphael also. Did you see a color? Was it blue or green?
Well, what I saw is in the center, kind of like oval shape, right? Which is how we see portals. Identify that it was pure white.
Oh,
and then around it, it was purple, very close to the shade of purple that Helen's wearing.
Oh, okay.
And the purple part of it, like I said, it went on and on. Like I couldn't see the edges of it.
No, that's Zadkiel. That's Zadkiel. He's purple. He's the flame. He's the purple flame. Saint Germain's purple flame. That's Zadkiel. So you were was foreshadowing. They call that foreshadowing.
Really?
It would being a big part of your life. Yes. As if we're going to associate them with colors,
Mhm.
that is his color.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty groovy.
It is. It is.
Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share before we go back to the slides? Okay. So for each one of these rays, there is a prayer associated with the ray and with the flame. And so this is the prayer for personal ascension. And this is my last slide before Winsong goes into the alchemical teachings. But I love this prayer, and you know, I'm going to invite you, whether you're muted or not, to join me in this prayer, because this is really kind of as a prayer initiating this journey into light for us. So in the name of my beloved Sophia-Christ presence, I am. I ask to receive the initiations needed to qualify for ascension. I call for a great cosmic shaft of the cosmic purity flame to remove from my mind, my thoughts, my feelings, my body, and all subtle bodies, every vibration of human creation that is impure in substance and less than my divine perfection in Sophia Christ. May the flame of purity transmute from my world all remaining negative energies. May the love of Christ expand in me through the power of the ascension flame. May the resurrection flame awaken the memories of my divine blueprint so that I can be free forever from all discord that I have ever created. I affirm that I am purity in action. I am God's purity established within mind, body, and soul. Let me also invoke purity for every part of life on earth. Let me invoke purity for my family, my friends, and for the whole family of Sophia Christ, all kingdoms and the earth. And so it is, beloved, I am. I am holy, pure, and perfect. So now we're going to go into the alchemical teachings that are predominantly Winsong's wheelhouse. But before we get started, let's just take stock of where we've been. When Venus rose as evening star on July 10th, so a month ago, every one of the chakras that we had descended through, beginning from the crown chakra all the way down to that earth star chakra, had gone through all of the steps of alchemy and had achieved that 8th mysterious step of the alpha and the omega. And so we know that every ending is a new beginning. And now we start again here at the portal of manifestation with this very first step, which is calcination. So take it away, Winsong.
Yep, here we go. Okay, I put these in the Axiom Maria, the actual emerald tablet, and the Azoth drawing, so that they would all be in one place for you if you need to reference them for any reason. I wanted to say that the axiom we have discussed, 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 3, and out of the third comes the 1 as the fourth, the 1 being Sophia Christ consciousness. let's see, crown chakra at the first gate on the ascent. We begin our second cycle on the Azoth at the beginning and at the end, the Alpha and the Omega, a place where we begin with the chaos of prima materia and end with the Philosopher's Stone. The sun is represented by the king. The moon is represented by the queen. The intent and purpose of alchemy will be the marriage of the queen and the king. That is how it has always been presented in the art of alchemy. And to notice that we are starting where it says number 1, the black ray points straight down. That is the first step and the 8th step. The symbols represented on this step are the square is salt, and the sign is Saturn, and it doesn't say 8, but it is. It's 8, and it is the 8th step is represented by the Mahashohan, the one overall. Okay, I wanted also to tell you that it is a natural process. Calcination takes place as we face the usual assaults of life, which we overcome by trial and error. But as alchemists, calcination is a slow burn in which we surrender our materiality to spiritual disciplines that ignite the passion in our souls. We work with fire to burn away mental blocks to reveal our true nature, our essence. And I wanted to repeat that again. This is igniting our passion as well as burning away everything that no longer serves. At the first step, we're going to start looking at the symbols also. If you move from step 1 to step 2, the circle between those two represents calcination, what we are going to go through. And you see the crow. The crow stands on the skull. This represents the crow or the soul bird being above all that has been burned, all that we no longer need, represented by the skull. We've let go of it. The keynote of the crow is the secret magic of creation. I love that, the secret magic of creation. Its color is black. It is the womb out of which the new is born. In medieval alchemy, it represents the Negredo, which can be the dark night of the soul. It is first matter, and it is full of potential. It is known to be watchful, and it can recognize danger, and it can warn. So if we think of the crow as being the animal that assists us with this calcination step, there are lots of things that are helpful to know that the crow can be with us and tell us and help us, because calcination is a Negredo. It's dark. Yes, Gina, she says the black also represents the no thing. Yes, out of which the new thing comes. Yes, absolutely. Okay, are there any questions about it? You see that the king, he's represented on the left there. He's sitting on a hill on a lion. And on the other side, he represents the earth. He is on the earth. The moon is on the water, and she is sitting atop a large fish with reins. And the alchemist, his feet, one on earth and one in the water. And as we move further through the Azoth, we will see where fire and air come in. But I'm not going to keep moving on through now. I will do it as we go. But I did want to point out that beneath the hill that the king sits on, there is a dragon, and the dragon is breathing fire. That represents calcination. That dragon is going to burn away everything, and the king is going to feel very vulnerable. Yeah.
So that sounds a lot like the activation of the Kundalini, because that's what happens with the Kundalini, which is like a fire energy. As
Exactly.
it starts moving,
Yes.
it starts burning away everything.
And the moon over here on the deep water on top of this fish, this represents uncontrolled emotion at this point.
Okay.
And that will come in with dissolution.
Okay. I do just want to clarify that this first step of calcination is actually happening here at the root chakra, right?
Yes.
So in the D journey, we went from the crown down to the earth star. Now we're starting at the root chakra. We'll be going up to the soul star. So I see you said crown, you typed crown chakra here. Just wanted to clarify that that should be root chakra.
Yeah, but the crown, what I meant is the crown is the first one to ascend. Isn't, yeah. Right. It's at the root chakra. But the crown ascends, just like the crown let us down and was the first into the underworld. It is also the first to lead us in the ascent.
So maybe you can clarify that for me, because what I'm seeing here is when we start at the root chakra and we're moving up, that the root chakra will go through all of the steps first. And so that the root chakra will be the first one to ascend. That the crown chakra is going to reach.
That's true. Yes, that's true. Yes. We'll do it that way. That's good.
Okay, because I'm a little confused and I don't want to confuse anybody else.
No. You see, the crown chakra was the first one that went into the underworld. She led the ascent. The descent. She led it. We start at the crown.
Right.
And Inanna gives up the crown at that point. Right. So I was thinking that the crown rose first, but that's not the chakra, but the crown. It's okay. Let's not do that. That's too confusing. Let's just do the root chakra.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. Here is,
and it's the robe, the root chakra and the robe.
Right. The light body, right?
Okay, so all those body. Others, so the others are going to be in the underworld for a while.
No, remember, I'm sorry, I don't want to in any way contradict you. When Venus rose as evening star on July 10th, everybody here is now at the Alpha and Omega. And so, because we're out of the underworld and they're at the Alpha and Omega, they will stay at the Alpha and Omega until they get to that first step of calcination. Right.
Okay, let's go with that.
Yeah,
I had a different vision, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We'll go with that. They are in the Alpha Omega, which is the beginning and the end.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's your next slide, honey.
Okay. So I was going to start to introduce some of the art, the alchemical art goes with the study of alchemy, and it's very old. The one is the king. They showed him in the sweat bath. This represents calcination. You see the fire underneath of him. So he is in the sweat box now of his own thoughts. He's not comfortable, and neither will we be in calcination. It is not meant to be comfortable. It is meant to face whatever it is in our experience that does not serve us anymore, or false beliefs that we've been taught about ourselves and our world and how we fit in it. When those come up, they're lots of times very, very challenging. So the alchemists believed the great work took place on all levels of reality. They looked to the stars to further inform them. The symbol used was the horns of the ram in the constellation Aries. We differentiate between the signs and the constellations now for clarity, but Aries and the ram are, Aries is the sign, the ram is the constellation, and they use the horns as a symbol of calcination. Ancient Egypt associated this with the sun god Amun. There was no greater fire sign than Aries. They felt its qualities asserted the strength of the ego. It is the ego's influence over that we want to burn. Through misguided free will, life's true energies from source have been perverted, causing discord, the dross, which we burn to ashes either with actual fire by writing down what we discover is ego-directed and burning the paper on which it is written, or using the violet flame of Saint Germain and Archangel Zadkiel to intensify and purify the radiance of life. A part of the ego is in limiting through to the spoken language. A part of that ego is limiting us through the art of language. This has become clear. We do not have the words in our language to express a lot of the lofty ideas that are coming through now. And I think that by limiting language, much truth has been cloaked in secrecy. Although allow thought forms to be worded in higher energetic order and vibration. This not only raises our own vibration, but that of the collective as well. I'm not sure that's clear. I'm talking about language as we know it to be not complete. Okay, you understand that. It has been limited purposely, I feel, to keep us from understanding the higher levels of these concepts that we're learning.
Yes, and that's why I spent so much time on the esoteric meanings behind all of these symbols used in all of this sacred art cross-culturally, Egyptian, Tibetan, Christian, etc., because those symbols give the esoteric meaning that the language either couldn't provide, or it was too dangerous to use the language to share.
Yes, exactly. They couldn't do it. And that's why they had to go to symbols. And that's why symbols are so powerful.
Yes.
And I think that, you know, I've always had the vision that to read a physical book carries the lineage of humanity with it. There is a lot of history within the pages of a book because it is in line with all that has gone before, starting with cave drawings. And I think after listening to, what's his name?
William Henry.
Yeah, William Henry, that art is the same.
Yes.
It also carries a lineage.
Yes.
And a vibration.
Yes.
That imparts to us its wisdom. And it can go beyond what you're seeing. It is on a different level. They always invite you to look at art, right? And what do you see? But I think it's more look at art and what do you feel?
I would agree with you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We are looking for I guess what you might call it is emotional intellect. When we look at it with the heart, what do we feel? What is this piece of art telling us? And so that's why I'm excited about the connection to art that we've been learning.
Yes, and William Henry speaks to the fact that, you know, every time you look at a piece of art, it activates you because the frequencies are embedded in that art. You're receiving, it's just like you know, in the Hindu tradition and the Tibetan tradition, they create mandalas that have frequencies that activate them. This sacred art is very much like these mandalas. And I would say from my own experience, you know, viewing a piece of art that is on the internet or in a video that something has done is activating. You know, even a piece of art that's printed in a book that I have the physical book of is activating. And I would say from my experience that when you are in that temple or you are in that church or you are in that museum standing in front of that art, it's a whole different flipping experience that blows you wide open.
I agree. It is. It is very different. Okay. We have been told that life is an experiment in free will. It is not. But humanity has experimented with it. The will of Sopha-Christ consciousness is what we aspire to align our will to. This concept in alchemy is known as true imagination. Alignment is Earth's second power, and it inspires us to seek the true self. We begin the journey again from where we started with new eyes.
So that's an important statement. Alignment is Earth's second power, inspiring us to seek our true self. We had mentioned in one of our previous gatherings that we were going to be working with the element of the step, right? So the element of this first step is fire, and that we're also going to be working with the element of the gate activation. This gate activation is in Virgo, so the element is earth. And because we're working at a higher frequency, we're going to be working with what's called by Lisa Michaels their second power. And I know your next slides are there, but because you've introduced this statement here, I wanted to clarify for everybody what that statement is really leading us to.
Yes. Yes. Okay, we're ready. Okay, the elements of the root chakra gate. It's earth and fire. Earth, the container for our physical experience. She is our mother, a divine being, and in her natural state holds so much beauty. Her first or primary power is to give us our physical bodies and the ability to function as an individuated being. We learn to stand on our own 2 feet. We see Earth as whole and complete, and we find ways to live in harmony with her cycles and all life forms. Everything on Earth has consciousness, and we are all equal in her eyes. Her secondary power, or level 2 power, is alignment. We align with her through our Earth Star chakra down to her heart center, which is crystalline, and we invite her energy into our being, into our hearts, out through our crown chakra and soul star chakra to the galactic center. Then we invite that energy to enter our upper chakras and into our hearts, where it joins with the earth energy. We become a bridge between the above and the below. I drew a card from the Oracle deck created by Lisa Michaels for Earth, asking what she wanted to say to us at this root chakra gate. I drew the abundance and fertility card. She wants us to know of the abundance available to all of us here and now. Abundance is having what we need to thrive on our planet, and also a state of heart mind in which we see the fullness available in each moment of life. In return, she asks us to use sustainable systems in all areas of our life.
That was beautiful.
The other element is fire. Calcination is step 1 in alchemy. It represents purification by fire. The element of fire represents the realm of energy and action to actively claim our personal power, to shine our light and feel ecstatic and enthusiastic about life. It is the realm of transformation. He teaches us to live a dynamic, vibrant life from our radiant core. We ask fire to shine a light on our inner awareness to learn what has previously been hidden in our conscious. The primary power of fire is action. Through the right use of will, we must take care to tend our own fire and take actions to expand and take action. I'm sorry, this is not written correctly. And take actions to expand on our, without imposing our will on others. We must use power appropriately. We need to be vigilant to see that no harm comes to others because of our own use of will and power. Our passion for life is the fuel for the actions we take. And the level 2 power of fire is development of shamanic consciousness. Shamanism includes both outer world and inner world skills. A shaman can see in the light and in the darkness. Through his skill, we see into the darkness and bring it into the light. We learn to travel to other realms and bring back truth. We may gain wisdom through the dark night of the soul. We may draw a mentor to us when we are ready to learn through non-ordinary methods. When we develop shamanic consciousness for ourselves, we enliven our ability to see into what is hidden in our own lives and bring it into the light for transmutation and healing. I drew a card for our group from the Oracle deck created by Lisa Michaels. The card drawn was the Shaman's Way. Shamans have developed the ability to work with energies of healing and unseen realms. They access wisdom through non-ordinary means. Those methods include taking an inward journey, either guided or within a meditation, and uncover information that can be found in no other way. A vision quest can be shamanic in nature. Many cultures have used natural plants to access unseen realms. We can burn incense, use drumming, dance, rattles, talismans, Moki stones, prophecy stones, picture jasper, candle flames, and more to access this realm.
I love how the card that you pulled totally aligns with the level 2 power of fire.
It does. I know. It was amazing. I was pretty amazed.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. I'm going to go back to the tribe. Does anybody have any questions about this calcination step at the root chakra or the elements that are being engaged? I mean, just absolutely phenomenal. And of course, you know, you mentioned that word momentum is like a big word for ascension, and the fire element is the element that helps you build momentum.
Oh, it does. It is absolutely the element to do that. And we have to remember that fire must be contained. And so we use our disciplines to do that. And just let it take us where we need to go.
Yeah. It reminds me, I'm seeing in my head the pictures of the whirling dervishes.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Are in an altered consciousness.
Yes,
they
that
are.
ecstatic dancing.
Yeah. Ecstatic dancing. Absolutely.
Of course, that's inspired through that fire energy, that fire element.
That's what does that. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're on the Aries Libra axis, are we not?
Yes.
And so Aries is the very first of the fire signs, and Libra is an air sign, and you have to have air to feed the fire.
Yep.
So in this calcination, so burn, baby, burn.
Burn, baby, burn.
Absolutely.
Right.
Burn, baby, burn. Yes.
And we're dealing with Saint Germain and the violet fire, which is all about purification.
Yes.
So burn off the dross. Yeah. It's just too synchronistic. You know, because we know there's no coincidences. So,
right.
You know, it's just really, it's just interesting to me.
Yes.
And on the one slide,
it is.
On the one slide where you were referencing Aries in terms of the calcination step and burning away the dross of the egoic self. The other illuminated side of Aries is know thyself. And so it reminds me of the story that William Henry tells about, I think it was Michelangelo, who was with his apprentice, and they had this big piece of marble, and they were going to be turning it into a horse. And the apprentice says to him, well, you know, you see the horse in that stone, but how do you find the horse in that stone? And he responds something to the effect of, I chip away everything that is not the horse. And that reminds me of calcination.
That's what it does. That is exactly what it is. Yes. It burns away everything that's not the horse.
Yeah. To reveal the true self.
The true self.
To know thyself,
is the goal.
Which is that Aries energies, the higher frequency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is one of the things in the oh good God, the open door stuff is to know thyself. That I don't remember which discourse it is, but it comes up in there to know thyself.
Yes. Yes. And of course, the self that they're speaking to is the true self, right? Your divine self, not the egoic self.
Yeah. It's all about the divine self.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm on my third or fourth reading of this little book because I read one every day, but it's like, I can't remember which discourse it is, but it actually says, know thyself. And even in the Violet Tara book, it it talks about knowing thyself. And one of the things to do in a meditation is to ask who I am, who am I? Okay. And that depends on who's asking the question. It actually says that in the book.
It does say that. It depends on who's asking the question.
Who wants to know?
Knock, knock, who's there?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my Lord. This has been good.
Anything else about calcination? Okay, let me go back to my share. So what I discovered when Sophia, Regina, and I were doing the Mary Magdalene Revealed workshop recently, that was led by Megan Watterson. And of course, her work is all about her translations of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene and how Christ, right, the resurrected Christ, is revealing to her through her inner vision, her inner experience within her Holy of Holies, these ascent of the soul mysteries, and presents her with these 7 powers. Well, what I realized is that these 7 powers actually coincide with the 7 steps of alchemy. And the first power is darkness. And as Maureen just said, darkness allows, vision to be possible. That's where we can see the light. And this is the darkness, or excuse me, the first power card in Megan Watterson's Mary Magdalene Oracle that has to do with darkness, making vision possible. And she writes, darkness is a power of the ego that convinces us we're alone, separate, and disconnected. Darkness is hard. It's the pain of betrayal. It's the fear of being truly alone. It's the heaviness that comes when we sincerely believe we are not connected anymore to those we most love. Within darkness, though, there's a form of vision that becomes available, the most powerful form possible that comes from the light sourced from within us. We use the darkness, that feeling of being cut off from all external sources of love in our lives, to harness the tremendous love that's right here within us, always. We see then our own source of love, and we feel again the deepest power that exists in this world, the power of the love that's innate to us, the love that reminds us of our worthiness just for existing, just for being human. The presence of love knows us by heart, the presence of love that some of us only find again when every other source of love has left us. And the soul voice meditation she provides for this first power of darkness is, what vision does this current darkness make possible? And so I invite you that as you're feeling yourself being worked by calcination, as the fire element is burning away the dross, to make sense of it for yourself, to gain wisdom of that calcination experience for yourself, to drop into your Christ heart and use this soul voice meditation to understand what is being made possible for you to see, what part of your light, what aspect of your light, right, is being made possible for you to see now through this current darkness that you couldn't see before. And so this is where we are at the portal of manifestation as of 3 days ago. We're here at the root chakra. We're at that first step of calcination, and we're at that first power that Christ gave to Mary Magdalene in her gospel, darkness. And for each one of these chakras, as we go through the ascent journey, we will continue to fill in the pieces here of the step of alchemy and the power that aligns with it. So this will be something you'll want to keep an eye on. Now, in terms of alchemy, we've also been working with the synodic cycle of Mercury, the cosmic messenger, which is a highly alchemical synodic cycle. And so last month in July, on the 21st, we had the evening elongation at Leo. That's the Negretto phase. This month, we're going to be having the inferior conjunction, which marks the albedo stage, right? That white stage, right? The white flame of ascension. Because remember, the inferior conjunction is when Mercury and the sun stand together below the horizon. And it's highly alchemical. It is aligning you body, mind, and spirit, or body, mind, and soul. And it's the most alchemical point of the entire Mercury synodic cycle. So the fact that it's happening within this window of the portal of manifestation with this sacred flame of ascension is another cosmic synchronicity on a whole nother level that's being brought into this journey. And then next month in September, we'll have the morning elongation that brings in that rubido stage. And then we will start a whole nother Mercury synodic cycle and a whole nother fire element. Notice that because this is the fire element year, all of this alchemy, Negretto, albedo, rubido, is happening in Leo. Now, we talked about with this ascent journey that two new things that we're going to be doing is personal intention statements, which we're going to do in the private part when we activate the DNA, but we're also setting a global or a collective intention statement. And once again, through the magic that is Windsong, she never ceases to amaze me in terms of the wisdom that she pulls in. It's just awe-inspiring. She is going to describe how we're going to put together that intention for the collective. So take it away, Windsong.
Thank you. I thought that one of the ways to reach the collective intention was to bring in the matrices that were created, that I created from a dream. And Sophia Mona Lisa helped me with. I'll tell you the dream now, so you'll know where this all comes from, and I won't need to go over it again from the next matrix that is influencing the collective. Also, your own personal intentions also affect the collective. But this is from a dream I had. I was studying with Tammy Brunk, and she had studied under Robert Moss, who has done some amazing work with dreams. And she's certified by him. And she brought in more of her own knowledge of astrology, and it was an extremely interesting year. One of the first dreams I had that I wrote down was called Researching Peter. So I'll tell you how I felt within the dream. I am walking down a long hall with many doors. I open them one at a time. I am searching for Peter. I open a door to find Peter standing in the desert. He is wearing a blue robe and sandals. He hands me 5 seeds. He tells me the seeds are from an ancient tree and that tree grows in present time. Sophia Mona Lisa researched the story that I had told and found where the seeds came from. It was an amazing synchronicity. Those seeds had actually been planted in our present day, and they had survived. The tree was a date palm. The seeds were found at the site of Masada near Jerusalem, where the Zealots held out against the Romans. They all died by the hand of their own men rather than be killed or enslaved by the Romans. These seeds became the matrices I created that held different archetypal energies to assist in healing the collecting thought around a very specific idea. And this image was generated by AI. I asked it to give me a image of Peter in the desert giving seeds to a woman, and this was it generated this image, and it is pretty close to what I saw in my dream. And then you also see the ruins of Masada, where the seeds were found, and that tree is actually growing. They have a fence around it, and they named it Methuselah, which is the name of the oldest man in the Bible. And it was just amazing. They have planted these seeds, these women, and they have actually grown fruit from these seeds. And so both the spiritual intent of the seeds and the material intent of the seeds has been satisfied here. It's really an interesting way it came together for me, and I'm really thankful for Sophia Mona Lisa to find this this synchronicities where it was actually being done. They were actually found the seeds and planted them. It was amazing, and it was exactly what Peter told me.
Yeah, yeah, and let me just clarify. Winsong had told me about this dream, which I thought was fascinating, and it just kind of stuck in my head. I wasn't actually doing any research. Synchronistically, a documentary showed up in my YouTube feed, and as I'm watching it about these ancient seeds that had been found and had been planted and actually germinated, it all came rushing back. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what Winsong told me had happened in her dream. So it just, kind of like how when Helen and I are looking at her chart and the aspects in the sky, all this extra stuff comes in. That's kind of what happens with Winsong and me too. It's like somehow on a soul level, we can pull together pieces at a collective that we couldn't do individually. It's fascinating to me how that unfolds. The other thing I want to say about this before you carry on with these matrices is you were if I recall correctly, tell me if I'm not, that you were creating these matrices when we were in the Gemini Rainbow Goddess journey.
I think we were, yes. I think we were. Would that have been 21? 2021? Yes. Yeah, that was it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going back to how we didn't really understand that Gemini Rainbow Goddess journey was taking us into this higher activation of our rainbow light body. Just amazing how these full circle moments are coming around again and again.
I agree. Totally. Yes. Okay, here's the matrix for this time. It was given to me, the idea, just animal welfare. we need a matrix. We need to develop some compassion and love for our animal companions. There are many countries, and even in our home world, where in the United States, where animals are not treated very well. And the idea of dogs was just a real important part of this. So the intention of this is my collage that I made. I don't do digital art. I cut out images and find pictures that will fit. And so that's what this is. It's a collage. So the intention is, may all animals be loved and cared for as divine beings, healers, and companions that they are. This was created in the Lionsgate portal of 2021. The energies
Another full circle moment.
Yes, exactly. It is. It is. The energies that came together for this intention are Archangel Ariel, the lioness of God goddess. She is an angel of nature and protection of animals. She encourages us to seek comfort with our animal companions. And that is her image on the left at the top. The second image in the middle of the top is Hecate. Now, she is a triple goddess of the crossroads. She holds sacred the energy of horses that represent strength and nobility, serpents, which represents shadow work, and crows, wisdom and oracle powers, dogs, sacred and loyal. The third picture on the top is Archangel Philae, and I got this from what's her name, Diana Cooper. She does work with archangels, among other things, and she said that Archangel Philae came to us from across the universe to answer a call to assist animals to heal. He is seen as a gentle yellow light that surrounds an animal to help it heal. And he reminds us of our bond with animals. And there's a little picture right under Hecate that shows a dog walking up some steps and the little yellow light right beside it.
Oh, I see.
That's,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's Archangel Philae. And the next one on the left is Xolotl, the Aztec god with underworld connections. The Aztec associated him with lightning and fire. He was not very well thought of in the Aztec world. He was seen in dog form, and they did not treat their dogs very well. He protects dogs that are wounded, sickly, and emaciated. He is the Mexican hairless breed. There is actually a breed that looks just like that. He also represents the evening star phase of Venus. He guards the sun through its nighttime journey in the dark.
And of course,
So
we just initiated that evening star phase. That's what the Ascent Journey
initiated, is. Yeah, and he is one of those archetypes that's maligned, that is not very well thought of, but he obviously, you can see he has a lot of strength. Yes. And he has a nature of protection about him. Right. He looks a little bit powerful there, I would say, in that image. That's why I chose that image. Right. And
look at his breastplate. I love his breastplate.
Isn't that cool? Yes. Yes.
Woo.
Yep, he's powerful. Then there's just a picture of a dog who was emaciated and starving, and through the care of humans, it became better. representing this matrix. And the third one in the middle row is Gula. And she is a Sumerian deity, very, very ancient, and a goddess of medicine. And she's often seen as divine physician and midwife. She was associated with dogs and is always depicted with a dog at her side. Then Anubis and Anaput are. Anaput is on the left, Anubis is on the right, and both are psychopomps and are from Sirius. Both are guardians in the underworld, guiding souls through the death and rebirth process. And they are associated with dogs also as their form from Sirius. And in the middle is Coyote, known for wisdom and folly. They remind us not to become too serious, to have a playful side, and love to have fun, just like dogs. They cooperate with each other to see that the needs of the pack are met. Their howl draws attention to loneliness and solitude and reminds us of our primal beginnings, which many of us still have access to. And then there is some words that express gratitude. Thank you, Archangel Ariel and Archangel Philae, for surrounding all animals with incredible light, love, and healing.
I love that you included Coyote as a representation of dog, because remember, this was the Gemini goddess journey. And while we were working with the rainbow archetype of the Gemini goddess journey, another archetype for Gemini is Coyote.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
That's
Shape
incredible.
Shapeshifter. Yeah.
Yep.
And when he first came up for this matrix, I thought he doesn't fit here, you know. And I kept working with it and working with it, and he kept saying, "Yeah, I do. I fit fine here. Don't forget me. Put me in." And I spent a lot of time with that, you know, trying to figure out why him, why Coyote. But I became it became obvious to me why. And I was grateful. I'm grateful to him and his energy for sticking with me.
Yeah.
through my period of doubt.
Yeah. So then going back to this previous slide, just to clarify, because I want to make sure I understand you correctly, then the global intention that we as a tribe are desiring to hold for the collective through this window of this portal of manifestation is this intention. May all animals be loved and cared for as divine beings, healers, and the companions that they are.
Yes, and I think it's real important. I see little Dulce there.
Yeah, she wanted to come up when you started, when
I talked about
matrix. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I think this ties in, you know, with oh, that thought just left me. Well, anyway, yeah, it's a real problem. It comes up along with everything else. Every once in a while, you read about some horrific thing that has happened to an animal, and it's because of humans and their abuse and neglect. And it was just time to address this. It was an extremely important moment. And these energies came together to do just that. And I'll bet that there's no other work in the world that has these particular energies working together. That's what these matrices were representing. That was my vision that I had, that came to me as a download, that would bring together energies that did not in mythology or in any other way work together, but they are here. They are working together.
I love that. And one of the things that more Windsong has discovered since creating these matrices is, you know, she put them out there into the collective, but from time to time she is becoming aware that they themselves have taken on their own life and are evolving and are informing her of their evolutionary process, which I think is just absolutely freaking phenomenal.
It is. And the first one that I created was around what's the name of that moon? A Jupiter moon, Ganymede.
Yes, Ganymede.
One of the probes that we had sent out had flown past Ganymede and had some really wonderful close-up pictures. So it was in the news. And I'm always interested in how some planets and moons and different things got their names. So I looked up the meaning of Ganymede, and I found out that it had a lot to do with women and children and people in abusive situations, pedophilia, things like that. It was, you know, something that definitely needed to be addressed, but in a more gentle approach. The whole matrix is being redone right now. The vision has completely changed. And instead of thinking of the actual Ganymede, which was the name of a child Zeus kidnapped and made his own slave, it's going to become something much different, so that we will be protecting the energy of the male and the female and the child together. Very different than originally.
Yeah. Fantastic. Any questions, comments, ahas around this global intention that we're going to hold through this window?
I like that she brought up coyote, because in Native American tradition, coyote is also known as the trickster.
Right.
So it likes to play, but it's also wise. I mean, how does it survive? You know, how do they survive in the wild? Because they're smart and everything. And I like that. I liked that. And I learned a few things today about stuff that I didn't have any clue about.
Good. Yeah. I remember I was walking through the woods one day, and I heard all this noise, little chattering noises, and it sounded to me just like children at a playground. And I thought, well, where is that? It's, you know, sometimes sounds echo through hills and you can't tell exactly what direction it comes from, but it sounded like a playground. And so I thought, well, maybe there's a school and there's just kids all playing on the playground. But that wasn't it. It was a pack of and they sound like children on a playground. And it was just amazing to me, you know, how they did that and sound like that. And they were enjoying their day. And it was cool. It was cool to hear them like
Amazing that you came across a pack of coyotes. That's just incredible to me.
Well, it is, because out back of my neighborhood, it's just woods. That's all there is. It's not developed or anything. And so there's lots of deer and elk and cougars and all kinds of things, and definitely coyotes. And they were running in the woods. It couldn't have been too far from me. You know, and I obviously, I didn't feel threatened or anything. It was just interesting to know that they made that sound when they run together.
That is funny. Wow. Helen, anything you'd like to share around around that global intention for animal welfare? You're muted, sweetheart. We can't hear you. You're muted.
I could tell you about this morning when I went out to read my rain gauges. I have a lot of water around my property at the moment, thanks to Debbie Downer. And it was amazing. I mean, like my backyard and my front yard are both mini lakes. Anyway, I had a huge statuesque great blue heron in the backyard, and 2 egrets and a night heron. It was really cool. And in the front yard, I had a flock of ibis and those ducks. I can't remember the name of them. It escapes me. I gotta look it up. They have like orange beaks. You don't see them that. You know what I'm talking about?
Are they the black-bellied whistling ducks?
Yeah, that's what
I love them.
I know, I love them. I had a flock of those here. I've had a flock of those here. So that was really fun. So they've been hanging around here the past few days. Well,
Yeah.
while my lake is still here.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing that.
yeah. So I always thank them for coming and visiting me.
Yes, absolutely. All those messengers from the gods showing.
Yep, exactly.
That's fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to take us back to the slides. Believe it or not, we're almost complete, because now we're at the point where we're going to be looking at the chart for this gate activation. We know when the gate activation happens because Venus and Moon are conjunct, and their conjunction took place at 1 degree of Virgo 3 days ago, August 5th, at that root chakra, that higher octave root chakra, that portal of manifestation. And of course, concurrent with this is that 21st strand of the Sophia code DNA activation. Now, I am going to refer everybody back to that video that I'm going to link to at the end called Crossing the Threshold, where I go over all of this in terms of what it all means with Helen. And one of the pieces that I discovered after that is that this gate activation is conjunct the royal star Regulus. Now, Regulus is at 0 degrees, 10 minutes. So it's just like right in here. But this is the fascinating piece. And this is something that I kind of wanted to hone in on, that some people may not be aware of. While astrologically, Regulus is in the astrological sign of Virgo, okay, and it's up here at the apex of this yod. So now this stellium at the apex has got 4 luminary bodies and not 3. Just keep that in mind. And of course, its location in terms of Pluto down here at 0 degrees, 33 minutes is even a closer aspect because it's at 0 degrees, 10 minutes. So while it's in the astrological sign of Virgo, it is actually in the constellation of Leo. Here's Regulus in the constellation Leo. So this can be confusing to people because we've got zodiacal signs that are similar in name to actual constellations. For instance, the astrological sign Capricorn has a constellation called Capricornus. Okay, so for all 12 zodiacal signs, there is a constellation and they don't necessarily align with each other. Okay. What's great about the fact that Regulus is in Leo the lion is that we know that this is the Venus synodic cycle for the Leo divine royalty goddess. And of course, Regulus is one of the 4 royal stars It's the brightest star in the Leo constellation, and it's here, and it marks the lion's heart. I love this because from a zodiacal point of view, I've always talked about the astrological sign Leo as being the sign of the heart. And of course, as we've elevated our frequencies, we've taken that from the heart into the Christ heart, that holy of holies. So once again, when you listen to the replay of that crossing the threshold, keep this piece in mind, because it really takes everything that I'm saying to a whole new level, because we can see that at the apex of this yod, and remember what a yod is, it's the finger of the goddess that says right now, in this moment of the eternal now, this will happen. It is divine will. Nothing can stop this. And so this crossing the threshold, as we are moving into this journey into the light through this ascent journey, as we are activating our rainbow light body through this ascent journey, this crossing the threshold is taking us into that inner temple. And from that inner temple into the Holy of Holies, where the eye of the heart is. Freaking phenomenal that all of these pieces have come together. And the frequencies of Regulus as a star helps to unblock deeply buried subconscious patterns. What a beautiful frequency for the calcination stage, which is burning away everything that is not the true self, right? That is chipping away the marble, that is not the true self. This star's frequencies is helping to bring all of that deeply buried stuff up out of the darkness, right? The first of the 7 powers, and into the light, so that they can be burned away. It's phenomenal. We know that the yod is a highly alchemical aspect. And so, again, I'm not going to go into this very deeply because it's all in the Crossing the Threshold video. But the dragon, speaking of Diana Cooper that Winsong mentioned, who does the Archangel Oracle deck, she does a dragon Oracle deck, a unicorn Oracle deck. The dragon that goes with this alchemical yod, blowing your mind. Gold and silver, violet flame dragon. Transmutes the old around you with wisdom and grace. And these are the powerful alchemists. And of course, we know that these ascension mysteries, these resurrection mysteries, by any other name, are exactly what we know to be the alchemical mysteries. It's just phenomenal. And isn't it funny you mentioned that Archangel Zadkiel was at the foot of my hospital bed, and sure enough, just as you said, here these dragons work with Archangel Zadkiel and Saint Germain.
Right. Yeah, that's I just thought if you saw purple, then you saw Zadkiel. Because he's very purple. And I also wanted to point out that look behind the dragon.
Yes.
That is the alchemical symbol.
Yes.
That is the alchemical symbol. And it is on the ground also with the circle on fire with the violet flame. But the dragon is standing on the alchemical symbol.
And what's fascinating is that the one he's standing on is white because it's been purified by the violet flame. The one that's a portal behind him has that shadow color to it, because those are the old frequencies that need to be purified.
Yes. And again, the butterfly.
Yes. Yes. So this is an incredible dragon that's come forward to work with us. with this activation. And for those watching, just, feel free to pause and read all of this, because I'm not going to read it to you from word to word. But this tail of this dragon, just so that you are aware, is anchored right here at the apex of this yacht. So as you're listening to Crossing the Threshold, keep that in mind. Keep in mind that Regulus is up there in that apex. I mentioned, and this goes back to what I said at the beginning about the constellation and the stars informing this, the dragon, also known as Draco, and how this dragon for this constellation is laid on. The dragon that was coiled around the tree of immortality. That tree of immortality is in the garden of the Hesperides, and upon this tree grew the golden apples of immortality. These golden apples of immortality, I believe, from my own perspective, I'd love to hear anybody else's, coincide with those blue apples. Because you'll notice in the vision that not only the blue apples show up, but yellow and red apples show up in Rennes-le-Château at that. So I believe that there is a connection between the golden apples of immortality and the blue apples, because obviously when we've activated our light body, we are then going from being mortal beings to immortal beings of light, which of course is what the archangels are, which of course is what the ascended masters are. And so this is incredible. When I heard William Henry speak to this, I'm like, oh my goddess, this is informing this date activation. What a synchronicity. And of course, these are the stars. Gienfar, Sophia Regina, am I pronouncing that right? These are your stars, your personal stars.
It's Gienfar.
Gienfar.
And Koakub.
And what?
Koakub.
Koakub. Okay. So Gienfar is at the tail of the dragon. And this is the root chakra. I mean, come on. You can't make up these synchronicities on all levels coming together. Koachab, which is in the Little Dipper, but which is also known as Little Bear Ursa Minor, was once known as the dragon's vanished wing. And so it's still a part of this Draco constellation. But more importantly, about 3,000 years ago, this star, Koachab, was considered the pole star, the North Star. Now it's Polaris. But what does the pole star, the North Star do? It points the way. And Helen and I have a fun little discussion about that in the Crossing the Threshold video, which I'll save for you to discover when you watch that. So that's the activation. And I know we've had a lot of discussion, but just want to provide one more opportunity here for any questions around anything that we've discussed today. I know it's been a lot. I mean, it's been 3.5 hours, but every time we start a new phase, we have to do this big overview so that we know where we're going. And so I knew it was going to be a big piece today.
It's just an extra hour for every day we were late doing it.
I told you, don't give me extra days, because I'm like, oh, I got to put this in, and oh, I got to put that in, and I got to tell them about this, I got to tell them about that. So now it went.
It was good though. Lots of information.
Lots of information. But you can see from the big picture now the significance of this ascent journey in terms of activating our rainbow light body, in terms of bringing our light body fully online for that Piscean journey, which is all about being the New Jerusalem. It's just phenomenal. Okay, let me just show you quickly before we close this down. that the next strand of DNA activation will be the 25th strand, and that's going to be activated on September 5th at the portal of creation. That's the sacral chakra. Remember that that's the chakra where there is no flame, sacred flame, no ray, no ascended master. And so Karuna Devi will be sharing those holy womb teachings. We will actually do the ceremony on September 8th. Okay, at this point, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been watching. Bless your fuzzy little hearts for sticking with us through all of this. Please give the video a thumbs up so it'll get out to more people. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is my link on YouTube for the Roseville Mystery School. And if it's been at all meaningful to you, consider donating by buying me a cup of coffee to support my sacred work. This is the link. It'll be in the bottom. And let me just say, Sophia Regina, once you primed the well by buying me a coffee, I've actually received several other cups of coffee. So I want to thank the viewer that supported me in that way. It means very, very much to me. So
well, I'm glad that it did. That's wonderful. Sometimes all you need is a little bit of priming. That's it.
That's right. That's right. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next month. Take care.
All right. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.